Hello, everyone. Spirit 420 here because everything I do is so 420, including that inevitable having a joint but no effing lighter. So just un freaking memento as I go get. Well, I mean, I do have this, but it's really hard to light. Pinky Pescadero. Well, this is Pescadero. This is a brand new bowl that a beautiful friend gave me. Who was also a dear friend of Skylar, so it means a lot. It's actually, I'll show you this real quick before I go get the lighter. So it's a bowl. It's also, so it's all gel, right? I'm trying to get it out with the wrong hand. There we go. So this comes off, and then this piece turns into a nectar collector. See there, angels are looking out for me. So this piece turns into a nectar collector. And of course, you can't have a nectar collector without a place to put your nectar, right? So it comes with, and this is a nice little, this is a glass piece inside of that nice silicone. And then that's an octopus that's on top. Probably hard to see. The light is just, there we go. Is that better? You can kind of see it there. Not close up, but. And then it also has a nice big oil tank. It literally looks like an oil barrel. See that? Yeah, see with the ridges. So nice big oil tank to put a bunch of wax in. So very nice gift. Again, from a wonderful friend, family friend, very close friend of my late son. So she has become, how do you say, like part of the family. And she brought this over. She gave it to all of us, I should say. I don't mean to exclude. It was a gift to this house, if you will, right? To myself, my wife, and my mother, the three potheads here in the house. And let me just say, she hits wonderfully. It's a beautiful hit. I see that somebody has said something. Hold the phone and I'll be right there. All right, let's see who's with us tonight already. What's up, Joe? My man has been through some shit. He continues to go through shit. And just like me, he endures the shit. The latest shit that he endured was yesterday. He went in and had a minor surgery. It's not appropriate, I don't think, for me to share what his surgery was, but I will share this. It was a minor surgery, so it was in and out. I think he went home yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, which is the same thing that I went through. I went through the same thing. Regardless, he called me yesterday, and I know that he was okay. And we had prayers going out for him. While he was under, because it's still stressful no matter what. If you have to go, people they take that for granted when we're young. We take it for granted, I should say. And I think even some people take it for granted if they don't have, or they haven't had to deal with a lot of surgery, right? But anesthesia is that's a tricky thing, right? And some people don't realize just how tricky it is. Like there is always the chance when going under, as they say, that you will not come up, right? That you will stay under forever. There is that slim chance with almost every anesthesia. So I don't like surgeries. Needless to say, I don't like it when my friends or family go into surgery. What do we got here? All good on that. I know. I love you, brother. So I don't like to see anybody go through surgery. Most people have been keeping up with high times, and my wife went through neck replacement. So by the way, now that she's done, she has this tank, right, and they did it right. We all have these crevices, these natural crevices in our neck. So they did the scar right along. Right now it's red, and you can clearly see it. But once it's all said and done, it'll be almost invisible in comparison. So did a really nice job there, which to me matters. I know that what Joe had done today, though, is no big deal on scars because it's in an area where A, you don't really see it, and B, it's also on one of those, doctors have gotten really good at finding ways to enter the body with a knife, but not necessarily leave a huge track mark of it, right? I love like the gallbladder surgery now. If anybody knows, they insert you on 3 different places, and they go in from 3 different angles to do the job. It's fucking crazy, man. But all you have are like these little tiny incisions, just enough room to get the tool in, right? And due to what the surgery is, they each have to be at a certain angle to do that job. Quite amazing, if you don't ask me. So, today's show, first of all, I didn't want to get on here. I will not deny these things. It took everything I had for me to come in and do this today. I don't understand what's going on and don't get it. I'm almost convinced that I shouldn't be taking the Lexapro, and I meet with my doctor here in a little bit, not like in hours, but I think in a week and a half, and I may talk to her about something different, or I don't know. I am also at the same time, and I know this has to do with it. I have never denied the fact that I do have an addiction to kratom. And kratom, although the addiction is not even, I wouldn't say it's even 30% of opiates, right? But it is that same type of feeling. So it's that same type of addiction. And what I mean by that is when you're trying to quit or lower that amount, you deal with withdrawals. And part of that is irritability when you don't get the happy maker, right? Even marijuana. And what I mean by that, people say marijuana is not addictive, blah, 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 blah. Everything is addictive, first of all. I've been down this road, okay? If you want to argue with me, we can have a sit down. On here, I'll bring you on the show and we can debate it until the end of time. But every fucking thing you do has the opportunity to be addictive. And what that means is that you are doing it in such an abusive, abundant manner that it is causing chaos in your life. You are unable to manage your life correctly due to whatever that addiction is. Now, that said, I realize that I am a little bit irritable. So when I say I don't know what's wrong with me, I know that I'm going to get there. I don't give up. Even when most of my friends, and I know that my mother and my wife, I can go to them and tell them that, A, I don't understand this world, and B, I don't want to be here anymore. And they get that I am venting. I'm not telling them that I'm going to off myself. I'm telling them these are the feelings that I'm having. And when I'm in that place, when anybody's in that place, because we all go through it, but when anybody's in that place, you've got to find, what's the word? I guess it's not a word. I guess the best phrase is you've got to find a way out, right? Sometimes the way out is just sharing it with the closest of your friends, right? Or your family, and just letting them know. And I don't give up, Joe. I give in sometimes is what I tell people, right? And the meaning of that is that there's times where I give in to the fear, the hatred, or whatever, but then I get over it, right? I don't give up. Giving up means, to me, it's the stupidest thing that we can do. If you want to talk about dumb, I don't mean to sound judgmental to anybody. Obviously, I'm not talking about giving up an addiction and everybody can have their fun and turn that, oh, you're giving up. Okay, I'm talking about, never giving up truly, right? What does Tom have to say? Absolutely. That's the number one thing I believe, Tom, is to share. And if you share that with a doctor, you'll find yourself in a fucking, what's the word? An institution. That's not the word I'm looking for. an asylum, right? If you tell doctors, I don't want to be here anymore, I'd rather not, I don't get this world, blah, blah, blah. They'll take it too far, right? Even though, and I do mean this, if I'm wrong, I would, may my left testicle rot and fall off, but 99.99999% of this world goes through these feelings. I don't care who you are. I didn't say it's all the time, but you have them at some point in your life once you have become an existential adult, right? Let's at least put that nomenclature in front of it. And what I mean by that is that you've got to, you have, I would say probably 13, 14 as a minimum age where most of us now start to question reality and question what we're doing, question why we're here, all those good questions that we have. I mean, most of us start questioning it from a very early age, but I'm talking about it being a problem and kind of turning sour. That usually comes in our teens, which is why teenagers have such a high rate of suicide, right? But again, if you try to talk about it, it's always prejudged, even though we all deal with it. That said, when you share that with somebody, right? And I'm not telling anybody how to act. I'm just saying this is, what's the word? A suggestion based on experience. But if somebody, family, friend comes to you and says that kind of thing, may I suggest that all you do is just fucking tell them it's going to be okay. Don't give up and give them a fucking hug, right? Don't get angry. Don't get upset. Don't get freaked out because they're coming to you because they have chosen you. In a sense, they have chosen you to share how drastic their feelings have gotten in the hopes to A, not be judged, and B, just be loved, right? I can say that because I know from experience. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it, but, I text a very close friend of mine today because he, when I'm in this place, I truly believe this. I'm not just saying this, but I feel like my friends deserve a better friend because when you're depressed, when you're down, you're also very selfish. It's the reality of the state of mind. It's funny because I'm actually going to watch this new docuseries on Netflix, and I'll get to the reviews here in a minute. But I'm going to watch it. Netflix puts out so much shit that they're going to put out some good shit. And that's just the bottom line, right? To me, it's like 1 out of every 100 releases is actually something that's really fucking good because they release something like, literally every day now, every other day. So they have a new doc series. I don't know if it's going to be multiple seasons or what, but it's called Afflicted, and it follows 7 people who have these extremely odd and rare afflictions. Just to try to remember a couple. Like one guy had not left his room of darkness for 2 years now. Another one is affected by like Wi-Fi and electrical signals, right? It totally just fucks with her. Anyway, I want to watch it for 2 reasons, and I think you'll get this. And to me, first and foremost, I find it extremely interesting, and I don't want to say sympathetic, but it's extremely interesting. And on top of that, whenever you see somebody who has it worse, truly it allows you to have a moment of gratitude for your situation versus what someone else is going through. And what these people are going through, by the way, just to give you kind of this heads up, which I thought was interesting, is almost all of them deal with either A, the doctors, or B, family, or C, friends not believing them and questioning whether they're doing this purely for attention or not. Trust me, you'll really get it, guys, because these are people that are dealing with, think of your most extreme forms of PTSD, except like they didn't, from what I can tell, they don't have a fucking trauma event, right? They don't have that. They're born with it, right? It's kind of like being born with it. So I think you'll get it. But right away, just watching the preview, I was like, wow. I mean, and it's my, my first reasoning is equal. It's interesting and allows me to become grateful, right? That I don't have this situation that these folks have, that although my situation sucks for whatever reason, we're not even going to get into that. Obviously, if you're depressed, you think your situation sucks. It's just that simple, right? For those of you who don't know, just real quick, I'll just do this. So imagine that has to be somebody, right? There we go. And I try to let it go. I really do. I never thought I would be faced with this. And it's funny because you try to share with people, but the one thing, the one little underlying message that I liked about the show, and I'm looking forward to watching it, is that only a very few truly understand the loss that I'm dealing with, right? And it doesn't make it worse. It doesn't make it better. I'm just talking about relativity, right? And what I mean by that is, if someone, here, I'll give you a for instance, since a lot of us either know or have been in the military. When a squad, or a company for that matter, goes through a action, right? They all see it differently, but typically they regardless of how they see it, they were all there and they share the experience. So when like, let's say some of them don't actually have PTSD from the event, but they were still there and you suffer from it, they will be very sympathetic and understanding because they can relate. Okay. When you're dealing with something hardcore, if somebody doesn't have that ability to relate, it's very hard, right? It's very hard to it's funny. On the way home today, everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. And on the way home today, this is an oldie but goldie for those of you who are old enough to remember it. Know what it's like, or maybe what it's like if I'm getting the title wrong, but it's by Whitey Ford. It was after he left House of Pain and he went out on his own, and he did an album called Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. That was his first album. It's back in the mid 90s. And it's funny. It's similar to Everlast, if you like Everlast, but this was not Everlast. This was just Whitey, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm doubting myself. I'll have to go look it up. Either way, just look up the album Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. And then look up a song. It's called What It's Like. And each verse gives a different thing, like what it's really like to sing the blues, what it's really like to have to choose. And the last one is the one that always hits me now, right? And the other, it was actually choose for a long time because I had not experienced loss. But the last verse is what it's really like to have to lose, right? We all are going to lose at some time, but certain loss is greater and more monumental up here than other loss, right? And our body can only cope with it as well as our mind has processed it and coped with it, right? And what I mean by that, for those of you who don't think it's true, I promise, because me, I I had a situation in my belly multiple times, and it started out with me from birth. At 6 months old was my first hernia operation, right? And I've had three. I had that one, and then I had two more in my, making sure I have the math right, folks. I think that one was late 30s and then early 40s, somewhere in there. Anywho, damn it, I lost my car of thought. I haven't done that in a while. Please forgive me. If anybody wants to remind me, please don't hesitate to. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember why I was even bringing up this. Oh, there it is. Stress, physical. Okay. The whole reason that I deal with hernias is because stress comes out in my belly. That's where it happens. It literally hits me there, and it deteriorates my body. Right. If I'm dealing with something and I don't talk about it, I will get like literally belly aches that will put me in the fetal position on a bed. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do it all the time, Tom. Trust me, it's a regular thing. By the way, Tom, do me a favor. Send me the link in your. Send me the link here to your Discord link because I'm going to add that into the description from now on. That'll be on my description along with other links. I'm just going to keep adding links to it, as long as I have the room to do it. And I just send me the fucking link, man. So if your mind, coming back full circle, right? If your mind doesn't process it properly, your body will feel it. Number one. If your mind does process it, your body will be thankful and happy because it can go about its regular things, right? And this is probably true for more of you than you realize. It's not just me. Think about this. Think about what happens to your body when something becomes really stressful. And what I mean by that is, do any of you get acne? Do any of you start to get maybe not necessarily migraines, but like, not similar to like a pressure headache, if you know what I'm talking about there? Right? Some people get hives when they get stressed. So, most people have some kind of limit as to how much bullshit they can take that stresses them out before their body starts to physically manifest issues due to the stress. That's my only point. And everybody has something. Now, what I will say is maybe not everybody has experienced enough stress to ever ignite it, because we all have different tolerances, just like we have different tolerances for weed and other things. We all have different tolerances to stress. That's fucking good coffee. Boom. Booyah. Oh, that was actually a good one. I got close. Booyah. Thank you, Tom. So just kind of bring it around, let it go, because I got these 2 reviews I got to talk about here. It's amazing because part of my healing has become getting up here, even if only one fucking person shows up and watches, and that's all that happens, right? And only one person interacts or whatever. It allows me, it really is. And if you want, I'll send you, if you like it, Tom, I will send you the link where you can get it, and you can get any 1 or 2 letters you want up here. And then I think this is like 14 characters in that part, and it's both sides too, right? Double-sided. So yeah, man, I think they're badass mugs. You can make it whatever you want. You can also do, like, I got the black inlay with the black handle. You can do all white. I think they have a gold version. Anyway. So, bottom line, we all have things that we're dealing with. We all have things that, how you say, take us to our stressful point, you know. And for some of us, we have had so much stress that we literally have PTSD from it, right? I have now experienced PTSD for 3 different things in my life. The first one I didn't really realize because it was from a car accident and I was young and I just didn't put it together, really, if that makes sense. I had it, but I kind of fucking ignored it, right? Put it that way. When you're young, you'll just be like, oh, whatever, and keep going. So all I can say is know that whatever you have to do, and for me, getting up here, so it's why, even though, you know, I literally have to kick my ass sometimes, you know, and that's my own shit, but I will literally have to kick my own ass and go, okay, you got to do it, right? You got to do it for, it's for me. I know that may sound selfish, but it's part of my healing. And if it allows me to make new connections and help someone at the same time that I'm healing and helping myself, well, then that's just fucking, to me, that's beautiful, right? It just gives it even more awesome sauce. So, on with the reviews. Let's start off with Bird Box. So first, I will say this: I saw the original Bird Box with Sandra Bullock right when it came out, and you know, first of all, neither one of these films really get a great. I will say that neither get. They did on this. It's blockbuster film, the first one, but it wasn't the greatest film, right? If I gave it a score now, I would say about a 64. It wasn't, to me, something that I would have felt that I wanted to see in the theaters. Although I will say, you know, I have nice big televisions. I love, you know, and I have movie experience when I'm at home, and that's been true for me since I can't even remember when, because I've always liked that. Probably I'd say it started by the time I was about 22. Yeah, about 22, where I always had to have a freaking home theater, sound center, channel, all this shit. I don't necessarily go with the surround anymore because I love these bars, and the bar does a great job as long as you have subwoofer. Put the subwoofer in back and go. But the first Bird Box was, the reason I did like is, how do I say it? It was a fresh new idea that I felt like had not actually, you know, it hadn't been done yet. It was something new, and it had a lot of different flavors, and kind of even reminded me a little bit of Quiet Place, right? To me, it was kind of similar to that, because it's based on one sense being, you know, kills you, right? Quiet Place is obviously sound. So I really liked the idea, but there were some things that I had issues with in the first one, but we're talking about the second one. So you come back and watch it. Now, there's no way that I don't believe anybody, would watch the second one not knowing what the first one was about. All right. So in the simplest of terms, there is a creature that if you look at it, you immediately commit suicide in some hardcore, like, you know, whatever is closest. If that's walking off a building, walking out into traffic, grabbing a letter opener and just gouging yourself, whatever. And it, you know, to me, that concept is pretty hardcore, like I said. So you have to run around in these. They basically run around with eye covers. So as long as they don't look at them, these things, and that's what's, you know, that's the other intriguing part, is that literally you can walk right by them, even, you know, for all intents and purposes, touch them, and as long as you don't look at them, you're fine, right? So that too is also, quite, it's different, right? Here's my big problem with the new one. Oh my God, I can't stand. Every time I do anything on Google, I have to prove it's me because I'm behind the VPN, but it doesn't matter. Here's my issue with the new Bird Box. The first thing that I felt after watching this was just an opportunity for another company, another group of people, because I don't know how many of the originals were there, but none of the original. That part I liked. I thought that was going to make it, by the way. The fact that this was on another side of the world, completely different. It wasn't in English, right? The predominant amount of it was Spanish, which was really funny because my wife and I first started and we were like, she even said it and I didn't even catch it. I didn't. And that's what's kind of funny. But she's like, is this dubbed? And I was like, I don't think so. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, yeah, they're in Barcelona. They don't fucking run around speaking English and sounding, by the way, like, just some good old Americans. So sure enough, we quickly, I think we were into about 5 minutes and went over to Spanish with subtitles. I will always watch a movie in its native language. You lose something when it's dubbed. It just makes it comical. Fuck that. So one of the things I thought was cool was this was the same event. You got to see other points of view of it, right? Not just different country, but different military and all the different things that come with it. So I really thought that was going to be cool. But back to what I was saying to finish it, to me, what Bird Box Barcelona was more or less the opportunity for them to show us how many different ways people could kill themselves in a matter of 2 hours. And the story, it wasn't strong enough, man. It really wasn't strong enough. I was quite disappointed. I did not like the way I felt after the first 20 minutes. That's all I'll say. I got it, and I get it now. But sometimes I don't like it when a movie. I personally don't like it when a movie takes you down one road simply to surprise you. Simply to surprise you, right? Simply to take you there and you go, what the fuck? Because you don't always enjoy that what the fuck moment, right? And if you don't enjoy it, even if the movie is good, it's like a minus. That's how I know how to say it, right? It's like a subtraction, if you will, from the experience. So I didn't care for the story. I did not care for a lot of the surprises and turns that this one did, and I really like a solid twist. To give you an idea, I'm a big fan. I wasn't doing this at the time when it came out, but I'm a big fan of Knives Out. And even like the new one, I haven't finished it. It's my fault. Just haven't made the time. Other things have happened. And when I'll do, I'll fucking go ahead and give that a review. But I love a good whodunit or any movie with twists and turns. Total Recall was one of the first ones that I was like that. I literally created a section of movies at my own home because the way I know I'm a nerd. I've always had like 500 or more films either on VHS, DVD, Laserdisc. It doesn't matter. Now digital. I can't do it with digital, right? But hold on a minute. I'm just going to say goodbye. Hey, man, tell the wife I said love you too, and y'all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you again soon, Joe. Isn't it? So I like to come up with categories, right? So like chick flick was one. You don't see these out there, but these are mine, right? You don't ever have the genre of chick flick, but I prefer chick flick. I prefer mind fucks. There's a lot of good mind fucks. Inception is a current one. Total Recall was the first one that I truly remember at the end of it going, oh, what a mind fuck. So, anywho, love a good twist, but if not done properly, they can subtract from a film. And in fact, I felt like that happened in concerns to Bird Box. I thought the acting was good for the most part, and the direction was good. It was, but even if those things are great and the story isn't absolutely solid, or in this case, it was really what felt like an opportunity for the writing team to, how many ways can we have people, like I said, how many ways can we have people off themselves? And if you want to see that, that's fine. But, there's a lot of other movies you could watch, and concerns to that. Happening is a really good one from back in the day. Check that out if you haven't. That's an M. Night Shyamalan where everybody starts committing suicide in really crazy ways. Which, quite frankly, I thought from the moment that I saw Bird Box, the first one, I was like, okay, this is a straight take on that concept, except here, well, I don't want to take away, but here you have creatures, right? You have some kind of beings doing it. So there you go. So before I give you my score, I will read these out to you. Rotten Tomatoes said 51% on Bird Box, right? The reviews, they now do reviews on Google, which I think is cool. So it's not just thumbs up, thumbs down, right? It's getting a 1.9 on Google reviews. 60% of people liked it. It's getting a 5.3 on IMDb, right? I was looking for any more. I was quite frankly going to give it a 50. And the only reason I'm even giving it that much is I really did like the acting. I liked the people that starred in it, and I also love to see new people. They were new and fresh faces to me because it essentially is a foreign film, and that's the other thing that I like about it. Again, I give it a 50 because I like that movie makers now are really starting to, I don't want to use the word co-brand because they're different countries. What would it be? Co-nationalities, whatever. I love seeing the collaboration between big countries and other markets, because to me, I think that's where we're going. I truly believe that at some point in the future, there will be simply one language that everybody on the planet knows, period, right? So, on to they cloned Tyrone. I absolutely enjoyed this film. I could not get enough of it. I thought of, honestly, it was one of those where it was done. I was like, damn, I want more. And it has the clear opportunity. I will just say this. I don't believe this is a spoiler, but it clearly has the opportunity to be an ongoing franchise, right? The cast is a bunch of people, that we all know, including John Boyega. Is that right? Boyega. John Boyega, Jamie Foxx. I'm not really this new girl, or she's new to me, but she was the third one. Let's see, Teyonah Parris. Is that right? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she was absolutely hilarious. And then there was, I don't want to give it away, but there was a couple of cameos. The only one I will say is David Alan Grier. I fucking thought that was awesome that he showed up in the film. Some things I really liked about it. They 100% added the digital effect, and they have gotten really good with this digital effect, or they truly filmed this with a camera from back in the day. And when I say back in the day, we're talking about my time period, probably 70s, 60 or 70s. Number one. Number two, I can't remember the name of it, but it always happens in this corner, right? When you're in theaters and you're watching film, you get a little flash of a little circle when the film is changing, right? When the reel is changing. And we're sitting there watching it at home, and it happened. And the first thing I thought about was, okay, well, you added that. We're not in a theater. And the only other time I've ever seen that, right, where I'm not in a theater, is, oh my God, Fight Club, right, where he points it out to everybody in the moviegoers, all moviegoers, so that they finally know what the hell they're seeing when that happens, right? It was really strange that kept happening throughout the movie. It felt subliminal, right? And it kept happening, and it was at times when, let's just say, that would, the concept of subliminal messages would go with the movie. On that note, the movie was, it really was a extremely well-written story. It had a lot to say and concerns to the world that we live in, because it touched on, so the reality is I don't do spoilers, right? So I have to be very careful, but I will say this. If you watch the trailer, then there's three main characters that are just, hold on. They're just three different types of players. You got a pimp, a hoe, and a hustler, right? For those of you who don't know what a hustler is, that's a drug dealer. And they find a conspiracy in their neighborhood, and it is fucking insane. It kind of reminded me, again, I don't want to, I don't want to give a spoiler, so I'm not, but I can say that it kind of reminded me of At World's End, by the two guys that did Shaun of the Dead, and Hot Fuzz, two of my all-time favorites, by the way. At World's End, they considered to be their trilogy, working with that director and them writing and acting and all that. And it was okay, but it wasn't great. This one was great, but it had some concepts from that. I love the fact that it felt truly like it had been filmed on actual film from back in the day. Again, I am very aware that could simply be a digital effect that's added, because I've used similar effects myself, so it's not uncommon at all. Oops. The directing was good. I think that guy's new. I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure he's relatively new. And who directed it? A guy named Jewel Taylor. Now, I'm assuming that Jewel is a man. Yes, that is a dude. That's the first thing I've seen by him, and now I'm looking forward to seeing other things. And I do love Netflix for that, because I feel like they will take a chance with somebody new doing it their way, and they have the money to give them. They have the money behind them to actually allow them to make a good, solid production. It was good from beginning to end. It started well, it ended well, and absolutely loved it. I don't want to sound ridiculous, but like I'm trying to think of somewhere where it went wrong. So I'll give it a 95. It was almost perfection in my opinion. Let's see. Now everybody has their own opinion, right? So I was going to see if they had a Google review for this one. We'll tell you is Tomato gave it 92%. Common Sense Movie, not heard of them. Common Sense Movies, they gave it a 4 out of 5, so that would be comparable to 80. IMDb, no shock here, gave it a 6.7. That's all user based as well. Reviews on Google 4.2, which equates to an 84. And I was looking to see how many people gave it a thumbs up. Oh, there you go. 94% of people liked it. So that's pretty strong. I personally think it was a home run, and it had very few. What's the word? They didn't even really exaggerate that much, and there was very, very few. I can think of one little plot point that could be an issue if somebody is being a douche and just trying to find something wrong with the movie, right? So, having said that, there you go. What's up, CJ? How you been, man? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. I'm alive, and sometimes that's all you can say, right, bro? But thank you for stopping by. Good to see you. And see, I don't call you Clay anymore. Unfortunately, you did catch me right at the end. Feel free to go and watch the beginning. I just reviewed a couple of movies. One got a 50, one got a 95. Watched to find out who was who. That said, I do love all you guys. Yeah, it has been a minute, man. How have you been? I'll stay and find out. How have you been, bro? Been doing well? I'll let you answer that before I take off. Let's see. Today is Tuesday, so I should be, for all intents and purposes, and unless something just goes horribly wrong or I'm just absolutely depressed, which I will give that. What's that disclosure now? I should be here Thursday. I don't see why I should, quite frankly. You know what I'll do? So I'll do a dab while I'm waiting on CJ to give me an answer. And I got some, for those of you who are curious, this is, oh my God. How am I forgetting this? It is a shatter. It is a sativa. And I can't remember the damn name. Let's see. There we go. There, you can see it now. If I get too close, it won't. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's a nice shot of it. Yeah. Oh, if I can just remember the name. You know what? I'm going to text my wife because she'll remember. Name, please. Thank you. It's right there on the tip of your tongue. See, it's acid. No, I'm teasing. It bothers me so much because I can see it. Right? It's one of those, I know y'all have all been there where you're like, oh yeah, I got it. Uh-oh. I got some responses from Clay. Just teasing. All right. So let's see. Good Busy just said a stray cat give birth to 5 kittens and a 4. Of course, I got it. Of course. I mean, you have to, dude. I get that. My son actually, I forgot to call him. He tried to nurse a bird back to health that had clearly taken a beating yesterday. Broken wings and all that stuff. And I tried to tell him, like most people, when they find something like that, when they find an animal in that condition, that situation, you know, most of the time they don't make it. Try, and we do our best, but most of the time they don't. So he was really beat up about that. But that's awesome because these are you said, oh, that's badass. When does that get there? You'll probably have that or did you already? Has it already come in and you're already using it? But anyway, I don't want to leave it on a down note, so I'm going to do this dab of this shatter. Give my wife text. No, she didn't text me back. Oh, what the fuck is it? I think it starts with a C. It bothers me that I can't. See, I'll show you. There you go. I don't want to burn myself. I know it looks like that flame's right on my arm, doesn't it? That's funny. Uh-oh, what'd you say? What'd you say, CJ? Oh, yep. Got it today, is what he said. Got the, for those of you that I didn't put up on the screen, but got the 10 today. So I bet that makes it so much easier to deal with, quite frankly. Oh, man, I'm trying to remember. All right. I'm going to put her on speakerphone. Here we go.
Hello?
Babe, please go look and see what the name of that shatter is.
What shatter?
The shatter that I'm smoking. I think I put the thing in the trash can, but it should be right there.
Okay, hold on.
It's the sativa that we always get. You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
I can't believe I can't remember it right now.
Hold on.
All right,
You put
I'm going
it
to take a
in the
dab.
trash can?
I think so, or it might be on the table.
Okay, I'll text it to you when I find it.
She's a champ. I'm almost positive it starts with a C. Cuban links. There it is. Got it. Cuban Links is the name of it. I'm almost positive, and I'll find out here in a minute. I am pretty sure. Love you, awesome wife. It was a nice dab, and it didn't kick the shit out of me. It was perfect. What's the next thing here? Someone's telling me about SWAT on Netflix. Is that, and when you say, is that something new? Is that a new one that Netflix made, or are we talking about the original movie SWAT with Samuel Jackson? Question. Or there's a question for you. And then, you know what, since we have that going. So yes, Cuban Links. Next time I'll probably have some Skywalker shatter, but the Skywalker doesn't break. It's actually a little more of a bit of a pain in the ass to use. By the way, I don't know if everybody saw this, but this is Pescadero. I'm sure you can understand why I named it Pescadero. This is a multi-use bong. So this right here, or bowl, excuse me, this right here, this piece comes right off, right? But it stays in nice and tight for use. But you can put this into the end of that, right? And then boom, you have a nectar collector. And on top of that, it came with a collector. What do you call it? This is actually glass. I guess you just call it a container for your nectar when you're doing, you have to have something to dab in. So this holds your nectar. That is a silicone case, right? That I think is badass. And then that is an octopus. Can you see it? There you go. It's an octopus as a lid, which I think is just cool as hell. And then it also came with a barrel, an oil barrel for your oil, which I think is cool as hell. But the bowl itself is called Pescadero. For those of you who are so young, you don't know what that is. Pinky Pescadero was one of the main characters in a little tiny film from back in the day. Anybody know it? I'm going to give you all a moment to see if anybody can get it, or if anybody feels like reaching down and typing on their keyboard. That would be the real question, right? But I'm sure that at least one of you have to know where Pinky Pescadero is from. I'll give you one other hint. The movie featured Grease Lightning. Yo, Grease Lightning. Yeah, I know. But I mean, it's my show and I'm having fun. So fuck it. Time for these to come off. I'm not gonna. Oh, you know what though? I never did take a hit. Where's my lighter? Want to take another hit from Pescadero. It actually hits really nicely. A little too rough for my mom, which sucks. So mostly my wife and I will be using it. But nonetheless, it's still really. By the way, I will say this. I thought it was pretty cool because like the whole kit, the bowl and the two containers that came with it, whole thing was $40. To me, that's a pretty good price when you get all that. And it's silicone, so I mean, quite honestly, you know it's gonna last. And it's easy as fuck to clean. Nice fat dad. Yeah, by the way, I know I haven't shaved, for those of you who are thinking in your head, right? Man, that guy looks horrible. He hasn't shaved. You're absolutely correct. I do look horrible. And I shave. So I can't believe you didn't get it, CJ. You're going to kick yourself. Pinky Pescadero is one of the main characters from Grease. Grease. I even gave you a big hint because I said it features the Grease Lightning. Grease Lightning was a song about the car. Grease was John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Funny enough, Olivia Newton-John, John Travolta. And they ended up making a few other films together because everybody loved them in Grease. Grease 2 sucked bad though. Don't waste your time. Just watch Grease. So that said, I love all you guys. Thanks a lot for stopping by. High school dropout, right? You go, beauty school dropout is what it actually is. Just know I appreciate your enthusiasm and I love it because you even got part of it, but technically it's beauty school dropout. I know because I watched the film too many times and my sister liked it. And I liked my sister, but she became my sister. And that's another episode. And I'll tell the story again. But she became my stepsister after we had gone together a couple of times in school. So, it's crazy. So, oh man, hey, don't feel like you have to, but I absolutely appreciate it, brother. I should be here Thursday. So hopefully, if I get a chance to see you, that'll be awesome. If not, don't feel bad either way. I promise. Yep, I know, Princess. I knew you would remember that as soon as I said it. You can't say high school, beauty school dropout. All right, so each of you are awesome, incredible people. Please remember that. I don't know what the next show is going to be about, but if I just make it here, that's all that really matters, right? We'll get through it together. I love all of you. Have a blessed weekend. Tomorrow's hump day. So what's really nice to remember is after tomorrow, you're more than halfway done with the week. Although I think we should move to a 410 situation, but that's a whole nother story. Have a wonderful evening. Have a blessed evening. Have a blessed week. I love all of you so much. I appreciate the support. Appreciate each and every time you bother to even come to the channel and just take a look, even if it's live or not, I don't care. Anything helps. And in fact, please know that you would be doing me a personal favor, and I would really appreciate it if you truly take the time to share and tell people, hey man, check this guy out. I think you'll like him. I would love it. Thank you so much. I love all you guys. Have a beautiful evening. See you on Thursday.
I switch here, I'm a strange fuck. Consist on ain't something I could say well. Build my change into the wishing for a change well. Wish a day a swell life for the next come. And when the next come, pretend that it's the best one. Like I ain't even gonna try and say that to the next one.